store.
He wasn't just hand-me-downs, it was thrift
Thrift store.
store specifically. Yeah,
We're talking about Ken Abrams before your day. He was
Yeah, you-
supervisor.
Before what?
he is from Worth County. You
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have known him, I don't think, but yeah, he was on a list of the archives that Roger pulled out.
I pulled that out of my drawer. I hadn't seen it in years.
Yeah,
That's great.
did you guys see the pipeline articles in ISAC's magazine here? There's one
Well,
from Tim
Carbon.
Whipple, there's one from Whipple, but then there's one from
Carbon Solutions.
the attorney for the Office of Consumer Advocate. That's a
She was at the
2+
first
page
meeting.
paper.
This one here,
It's John Long, I don't think that's a,
this one here.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
I did kind of skim through it.
yeah, I haven't read it all yet, but it was just,
Mine's somewhere up here. See if you're organized.
exactly.
Are we done with break? We will go back into session
Mhm.
and we'll have discussion with our auditor.
Okay, election, special election today, up and running. Got everybody there at 6 o'clock, open polls at 7, it'll be open till 8 tonight. We have, 6 locations, Sway City, Bancroft, Whittemore, Burt, Lakota, Flat Deer, no, Lakota and Algona. So, we just have one in Algona.
What is this election for again?
North Union and North Kossuth, so, one of them has a PEPL and a public purpose statement, and the other one just a public purpose statement. So that's what those are for. So we'll do that today, so we'll be here late tonight. The election workers will bring back the results after the polls close, after 8 o'clock. Everything seems to be running smoothly so far, so. No, don't see any issues with that.
Knock on wood.
As far as budget, we'll talk about that here when we're done with the meeting. Thursday and Friday, I will be gone to ISAC. And that's about all I have.
You're not going to ISAC?
I am not going to ice.
Do you have
Anything else? Doug wanted an email from the board on what we did with his budget, or did he tell you that?
Well, I had emailed him the worksheets yesterday, but he just wanted to know why, I think.
So, Kyle, you wanna send him a why?
I guess, what do you guys want me to send him? My why would be that if you, let me pull up the,
We're looking.
well,
I mean,
we had a $1.55 million increase in taxes. 550,000-ish increase for EMS, which was voted on. 600,000 asked for secondary roads. And then between the increase in another deputy for covering court, which we talked about, and the other general raises and normal budget items that we kind of needed to do, that would make up the rest of the difference. So majority of it was there in secondary roads. I guess, any other suggestions on what to send in that regard?
No, that's basically what you talked
we're all
about.
summed up.
I mean, that was the notes I had wrote down here from yesterday, so
Would you do that?
I could if that's what the board would like, yeah.
That'd be fine.
Is the rest of the board alright with that,
Yeah.
if he compiles that?
Yep, that's alright.
Okay,
Do you wanna carbon copy us on it?
Yes, he should.
yeah, I
Yeah, why don't you do that?
planned on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
anything else?
Carter?
No, I guess last week I had Care Connections, but it was before we finished the board meeting, so. Otherwise I had no, well, I was at, no, never mind, that was for the county, so. No, I had no other county meetings in the past week. But I was present at the waste management meeting.
Yep, that's good.
Mhm.
Wactor,
Well, let's see, last week, we did the EMA, tabletop exercise. That was
Mhm.
pretty good. The state gal came up and I can't remember her name, but
I wrote it down, Sarah Eggert or Edgert or something like that, I believe.
yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm pretty sure I wrote it down on my paper.
But she presented us with a, situation that, you know, is somewhat realistic, and we discussed through and got to see the different parts of, you know, what each of our roles would be in that situation, and it was a very good exercise. I felt like I learned quite a bit from it, and got to just see some different parts of how things would work, and it was very beneficial, I'll say that. And then Friday, I was down at the third judicial, district correctional. I always get that one mixed up.
Is that in Sioux City?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of talk about the state, realignment bill, because that's gonna affect how a lot of that, you know, Department of Corrections and stuff works, especially for the community-based corrections. That more directly affected how the commissions, the boards oversee the directors. There was a lot of talk about how it's not really gonna save any money, but it's just gonna put all the money down at the state and not keep it to the districts, and there's just a lot of issues with having the state kind of take over that, and they're punishing all of the districts because of one district that isn't doing things efficiently, so.
have they heard about home rule?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a case that they were talking about that, so you're talking about where something happens, it needs to stay in that district, and, Marine was not part of a decision that brought a, convicted offender to the third district, that it did not happen in the third district, so there was a whole discussion about jurisdiction and stuff, and she's going to be doing a lot of discussion. She's presenting with the judges. She's gonna be meeting up with the district judges, but she's also gonna be down at the state, and she's going to be talking about it down there, about how they shouldn't be doing that. So,
Well, our state was founded as a home rule state.
yeah,
And we
Was.
were supposed to apply our home rule agenda, or whatever you wanna say, thoughts, and how we imply the Constitution of the state of Iowa as a home rule state. And we seem to go away from that lately. That bothers me.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
another case where home rule is not applied, and it should be.
And she's very, very much up in arms on that, and, she was not represented, and they were telling her that she was not going to be represented because she was not part of in that party in that decision making, so.
Did she tell you when she planned to go to Des Moines? to meet with anyone. Otherwise I'll contact her and ask to.
She did, but I did not write it down in my notes.
Okay, I'll follow up with you or her later, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, if you email her, just see me in it, so that way I can kinda see.
I was just curious if she'd be down there this week or not.
I don't know that she is.
Yeah, I mean,
Cause the
that's
soonest,
fine.
the soonest thing that she was going to be doing was, more local, the district judges and stuff like that. So, and then discussed some things about some different House files, Senate files and stuff like that that deal with, probation things, let's see. There's one that I saw that was kinda interesting. The Senate file 222 is basically going to write a law that if you are caught putting a GPS device like on someone else's car, and they're basically writing the laws of how to handle those situations. Apparently that's becoming more of an issue.
Tracking?
Yeah, people use, well, cause you got
Yeah,
those,
there's people.
the
from
tiles that you
air,
can.
air tags
Yep,
or
yep,
stuff like
Google
that.
tiles and things like that, and they'll put them on, so previously, I don't think there was really anything that they could charge them on for that, but they're currently working on,
What about cell phones? They track their children's cell phones.
well, and I think that's a little bit different.
Is it?
This is more towards, so it's like crime charges for unauthorized placement of GPS devices.
Ones that you slip under the bumper.
Yeah, that'd be like
Cause they make those little,
people
those
following someone home from the bar or whatever, because
Yep.
they slipped
Trackers or-
a
yeah.
tracker on their
Yeah.
vehicle.
Yep. There's been people that found them
Yeah,
in their gas tank, you know, you open up your gas tank and they're
Yep.
sitting right in there.
Yep.
Cause a lot of gas tanks, you can just flip right open and then just stick it in there and you don't notice it until the next time you go to fill up.
mhm,
So, just kinda updated us on the drug courts, they're working on it in Clay and Dickinson, they've got panel members all chosen and they're working on training and stuff like that, and those are almost up and running, getting closer to being ready for that. We also discussed the money that we have in the budget, the balance that we have in the budget, what's gonna happen to that July 1, when, if the state does pass the alignment bill, that, you know, they're gonna take the money that's left and then pay the bills themselves, or it needs to stay with the districts to make sure that the bills get paid, and then eventually, there's a pretty good amount of discussion on that, so, but,
yeah, I don't doubt that.
More to come.
yeah. And then I'll be down at the spring conference.
I have one quick thing I forgot,
Go for it.
just gonna bring up, as a heads up, the county's had an agreement with Laverne School for, leasing ball diamond. Don Batch was part of getting that originally, years ago, I mean, I was a little kid, but, so being the school is dissolving, just, we'll have to renew a contract with the city now, because it was a 99-year contract, lease agreement, and we'll have to dissolve that and
Do another 99
do
year.
another 99 year or whatever. I think it's like $5 a year or something that they could rent it for, but, yeah. So, anyway, just a heads up there.
Most things have already been touched, the EMA tabletop, spring conference. We have a EMS meeting tonight, so that's coming up, but, that's highlight of my 2-second report.
We have an EMA meeting tonight too. forgot to mention that,
EMA.
EMA, yep.
Well, you basically said everything I was gonna say already, so. I think, anybody else have anything to come for the good of Kossuth County?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn? Carter,
Second.
any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motor meeting adjourned.